You know what it is, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
You know who it is, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Odie, Maury, Sody, Maury,
Maury Sody, Maury Sody.
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo?
Are you ready?
Let's go!
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy. It's the Black and Snerdy podcast with Odie and Maurice.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
It's great to stay up late.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I don't know.
I was going to stop immediately after that line. Like, if you were to continue, I would have just looked at you and just been like, I don't know the rest of the song. I only heard, you know what? And you know what? Okay. This is kind of shameful to admit.
Mm-hmm.
I know that song is from a Broadway musical.
Mm-hmm.
I was first introduced to that song via an episode in a throwaway gag from Family Guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't, honestly, I heard that song probably from the musical, but it's just a song I've always heard.
Yes.
So I don't even know what musical it's from.
Yeah, I don't know what musical it's from either. But
And I feel like it's just one of those things where I would like hear it on the radio in like an old movie.
yes,
Because, you know.
kind of like how they kind of did that in the Brave Little Toaster that we just watched.
Exactly.
Like, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Well, hello, listeners. I'm Odie.
And I'm Maurice.
And you're listening to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
Do you want to continue with that voice or?
Honestly, I don't know if I could continue with it because
I know
I feel
you
like,
can't.
First of all, why do you have to be rude to me at every
I was
point?
agreeing with you.
No, you don't need to agree with me on things like that.
So we can't have symmetry. We can't have
No.
be synced up.
No,
synchronicity.
not in situations where I'm saying something that is against myself.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't say things against yourself.
Well.
And that's the lesson, folks. That is the lesson that we learned today. Have self-confidence. Believe in yourself. If you can believe it, then you can achieve it. And then you go from there.
You know what? Sure.
Okay.
But we're going to do what we do in the beginning of these episodes. We're going to ask a question. I'm going to let you pick one.
Mm-hmm. This is the Black and Snerdy Q&A.
The Q&A.
Yes, a segment where we pick some questions from table topics, and we ask each other questions. Boy, oh boy, my mouth is dry. So how about you kick this off for us?
Okie dokie. Oh, okay. I feel like we've talked about this recently. Which comic strip character has stood the test of time?
We have talked about this before, and you know which one I chose? I chose Curtis.
You did choose Curtis, and I was really glad when you chose that one because I loved Curtis, and I completely forgot about that cartoon. Mine is always going to be like Calvin and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Because I just as a kid, just was obsessed. Even now, I would honestly want to find like a Calvin and Hobbes, like all of the books in one.
Yeah.
And have them in my library because I would actually read those because it just was like I felt like Calvin had the same imagination as me.
Yeah, it really says a lot about our history within this country that the two most prolific comic strips are on different sides of like the diaspora or like the dichotomy. So like you have your Calvin and Hobbes that's like philosophical and funny and witty and like wise beyond its years, and it's like authors prolific, and you know he stopped and we respect him for that. He never like cashed out, and he never like became commercialized by having like a cartoon of Calvin and Hobbes or a movie of Calvin and Hobbes, and he just was like, let my comics stand the test of time by themselves and stuff, and he kept the quality up for a really long time. And on the other side of the spectrum we have Garfield. Do you know how many Garfield cartoons there are?
Yeah,
There's so many. Do you remember Garfield and Friends?
Yes.
The animated one?
I liked that one.
I like that one too, but it's all...
But also Garfield and
bland,
Friends, I mean, having the name Odie didn't make enjoying Garfield.
There's that.
Because it would be like, I remember, even like I remember a teacher being like in 4th grade.
Yes. He's like, Odie, like the dog?
He was like, oh, like the dog in Garfield? Ha ha ha. And he was like, nobody else can say that. Like, sir, you're saying this in front of a room of 4th graders.
Yeah.
They're not going to listen to you. They already were doing that. And it's like, of course... Odie was a super cute little character.
Yeah.
But, like, being called a dog is not fun.
Yes, it's not a fun experience, I can imagine.
And I always just ask my parents, like, where did you get Odie from?
Yeah.
Because my Nigerian aunties, they don't even call me Odie. They call me Odo. Because they're like, your name is ODO. Why would we call you OD?
That's a really good point.
Exactly. It does make
That's
a really good point. And I'm like, y'all just picked the first 2 letters and started calling me that.
Yeah.
I want to sue.
Okay.
But okay.
I will get some lawyers in here. Lawyers, if you're out there listening to this podcast, email into us about the best way to go about with this representation. Can I choose a different question? Because my question is the most bullshit question I've ever had. Do you want me to read it? It's what's the best bumper sticker you've seen? And I'm just like, are you kidding me? This bland ass question.
Just make up a question.
Okay, make up a question?
Yeah.
All right, what? Fuck, it's the same thing. I was gonna say what cartoon, for you has been the most influential on your life?
Oh, As Told by Ginger is the first one that comes to mind.
It would make sense that it was
because I really, really identified. On the other side, well, I paid a visit, and it's possible I miss it.
And different, but exactly the same.
Yeah. Till further notice, I'm in between, from where I'm standing, my grass is green. Someone once told me the grass is much greener on the other side.
So for me, it's probably Rocko's Modern Life. I think I get a lot of my humor from Rocko's Modern Life. And like it was a quintessential. I never liked Ren and Stimpy.
I did not like Ren and Stimpy either.
Too much.
It was too
And you
much.
know what? I loved watching shows that my parents would tell me not to. They told me not to watch The Simpsons.
They told me not to watch Real
King
Sex.
of the Hill. And, well, yeah, the funny thing is, for that one, there feels like there's a reason behind not wanting a child to watch that program.
But that made me be like, that literally, my mother, it came on HBO after a movie we were watching. She turns it
like
off.
at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I watched it.
This is not for children. You can't watch this. Okay. And I was like, all right.
But
so I go to bed. I go to leave her room, and my sister and my godbrother we're like watching TV under our little fort. And I was like, Mommy just told me this thing's for adults and we can't watch it. So, of course, we go to it. And we were just like, real sex? Yeah. What's that? And like that time we had the television where we didn't have the remote, but we had like a little notch thing on the TV because it was old. Yeah. And so we would sit so close to the TV, but we would just have it so we could
just
click it to the other one.
Or not click it off, but click off the channel just in case.
Real quick.
You heard some rumblings upstairs. Not even turn off the TV.
No, just
turn
switch
it to something else.
But then,
what else was on? This was did you have cable? Because then you could watch Cartoon Network.
At this time,
we had cable.
I want to say,
but then it was like Space Ghost, and I was just like,
Well, we had to turn that dial like a lot of times.
Supposed to.
Like it was a dial thing. Like I remember it had like 0, 3, 5, 11, 33.
Yeah. It went
like
the dials back then were insane.
It was so crazy.
I'm so glad that we came up with the technology to fit all those channels just within the TV, so that we don't have to go up and down. It's just streaming. It's all streaming.
Do you want to know what pisses me off though? They've made new TVs all digital, and they don't have any buttons. Because I was at my friend's house. We were trying to like get something connected.
Y'all lost the remote.
And something was wrong where we couldn't like change the channel or something we needed, and the thing had no fucking buttons. Can you leave a button on there just for the? We need fail safes.
Fair enough. There needs to be some fail safes. We just got finished watching a Love, Death, and Robots where there wasn't any fail safes. It was just customer service, and as somebody who works in customer service, I know how useless they are. So. I mean, that's the job. The job is why else would there, if everything worked perfectly, there would never be a customer service. We got to create these jobs. We have to. So everything has to be faulty a little bit. You know, like that's my theory. Like, that's my, like, what? Like, you're telling me that Google has outages? No, it's to employ individuals within the company. And so that they could be like, oh, we employed this many people. And then that way they still don't pay taxes. Like, you know? That's how they justify it. It's like, but look how many people we employ. We're all over the country. We have the biggest fucking swinging dick building in New York that every other company is going to try to emulate. Why the hell is my... Okay, never mind. I'm getting in...
You are.
I'm getting too into the weeds with this. And I believe the question was the most influential cartoon.
So I would say but I feel like also as well as Told by Ginger.
Can I guess the second one?
Yes.
Okay. Knowing you. Can I ask if it was on Nickelodeon?
Yes.
Okay. So that weeds out like Cow and Chicken and stuff. Okay. I wouldn't have guessed Cow and Chicken. I'm just saying it weeds that out. I would have probably guessed the Powerpuff Girls, but I don't know because you're like, oh, there's no black ones. So okay.
No, I still love them, but
and this is cartoon, Nickelodeon. Because your optimism wants me to go down the road of Rugrats, but I don't think it's Rugrats. What's another? No, you have too much personality for Doug. Because Doug is boring. Doug is really, really boring. It's the most boring cartoon I've ever watched in my life. Well, it's not the Avatar. Now I'm just guessing because I'm like, it would have had to be some. Wait, time out. It's not Nick Jr., right?
No.
Okay, good.
Oh, well, if I could. There's probably one I could pick from Nick Jr., but no, that's not what I'm thinking of.
Oh my God. Damn it. Why did I say I should guess this? Okay. Just damn it. I can't guess. Why don't you tell me?
So you're partially right because it was a tie between Rugrats and Wild Thornberries. Damn it.
It would be Wild Thornberries. It would be because of nature. Because you love you some nature. So,
but it's like there's so many. Because then there's Hey
Arnold. And there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All
and
right,
then like Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold at the
right.
third. Is it Hey Arnold at the last one because it was New York?
You know what? I really Hey Arnold.
Yeah,
I guess you don't have like the optimism that Arnold has.
Just the whole thing, like the whole thing about Hey Arnold, all of it.
Just like Birdman. You know a Birdman probably.
I wish I did.
Or, a Pigeon Man.
I would have loved to know a Birdman.
Kid. Like whatever the version of Stoop Kid is in your universe, you probably know them. Okay.
What about you? You didn't name yours.
Did I not?
No.
I said Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh. Well, you did.
And maybe with a little bit of Invader Zim in there.
I could 100% Invader Zim.
Because I have some dark sensibilities that peep in.
You know what? Damn, Real Monsters.
I specifically was going to say that, but then I was like, no, because you don't like scary shit.
I don't, but I loved Real Monsters because it was like getting to know the back end, and that it didn't scare me. It was like they had personalities, they were real people. Mm-hmm. It was just they had like,
oh my God, you're Ickis. That's not meant to be a joke.
Is Ickis the one that has
the red one?
Okay, you know who I was thinking of?
Anxieties. Like
I was thinking of the one that? with that hat used to keep his eyes.
Oh no, not that. That's the Grumble? Is that his name?
No, the Grumble's was the principal. And then what was her name? Athena or damn it. God. Damn it. What was her name? That she used to grow really tall. I used to always love her because I loved her
The
accent.
black and white one, you mean?
Yeah.
That was Oblina.
Oblina.
Yes, the one oh Crumb. You're thinking about Crumb. I wasn't calling.
I was like,
Crumb.
are you?
I'm not calling you
Thank
Crumb.
You very much.
No,
Thank you very much.
you're
Yes,
fucking
Ickis.
because of all the anxieties.
Yes.
You're like you're a ball. You're like a little rabbit, a little red rabbit that has some nervous tics, and I'm just like, okay, that makes sense. Not the Crumb.
I'm great. Well, good.
I mean, or Crumb, not the Crumb. There you go. So,
all right.
What's your last question? You're about to get me killed over here with our listeners, assuming that I'm being mean on this show. I'm not. This is not me being mean.
I'm glad that when you said Ickis, I was like Ickis, and then it was immediately I thought of Crumb, and I was like, wait, let me ask before. I was gonna pull a Monique, and I needed to ask first.
Okay, yeah. This is
I had to clarify.
That automatically makes me DL Hugh.
I wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Okay, what do you like most about where you live now?
That's a good question. I like that even though it gets hot, it doesn't get sweltering hot. Mm-hmm. Like we're already in the summertime. Mm-hmm. So that's just what it is. I haven't felt compelled to put in my air conditioner because it just hasn't been swelteringly hot. Mm-hmm. Also, there's the laziness factor.
Because I was going to say.
My windows are high and my unit is to the ground. Like, it's not a window unit. You know what I mean? And I could probably fit it in the window over here, but I'd have to get the ladder. Yeah.
I can help you do that.
I know, but do I want to do that?
When it gets to be July, August.
Okay, we'll see.
You're gonna be like
the window's not open now, and it is hot, but it's not like it's murder hot.
Yeah, it's like regular.
I'm drinking room temperature water, and that's sufficient.
Yes. What was the question again?
What about you? You're the one who asked the question.
What do you like most about where you live now? I love that I'm so close to the park.
Yeah. Yes. That adds up.
So, I'm really close to the park. I'm really close to a lot of great food and, bars and stuff. So, it's easy to just, I don't have to travel that far around my neighborhood to, find good things to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like, honestly, one thing that I love about where I live is I remember being, 14, 15 years old and driving past the Brooklyn Museum and being like, I'm going to live over here one day.
Oh, that's sweet.
And so now...
Imagine a little Odie. Just seat belt buckled, looking out the window, face probably pressed up against the glass, just dreaming that one day she would live in blank part of Brooklyn.
Well, because it's the museum and the library are right there.
Yeah, yes.
And two of my favorite things.
So if you know those landmarks, just know,
I can. It's like. I mean, I'm not telling anyone my address.
Obviously, you're not telling anyone your address,
but
you're in the area.
Yes, I can get there easily.
I'm in the area as well.
Yes, we're in a part of Brooklyn that's not.
Yes, that's a very beautiful part of Brooklyn that she's constantly trying to get me to go to the park, and I'm always like, why?
Because it's a huge park.
It is.
Outside of Central Park. This is the big one, and it has lots of fun things, and it's lovely, and we could be in nature, and it's nice.
Okay, well.
We can see lots of dogs.
Some people enjoy nature more than others. But I will concede that on a conceptual level, it is a beautiful area, and the idea of being in a park sounds nice.
Okay. All right.
Is that fair enough for you?
Yes.
There.
So we've asked all the questions. Are you ready to to jump in?
I am ready to do that. But first, we need to have just a brief discussion. We have some passings that we have to talk about, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, a young, talented actor has passed away.
Yes.
Which is really sad. His name was Billy Kametz.
Yes. And for those of you who know, I'm a huge fan of anime. And he was the voiceover for many. He was I would say, prolific voiceover actor within the anime community. He was now Fumi in Rising of the Shield Hero. He was Rui in Demon Slayer. That's as recent as this season, and Rising of the Shield. Well, last season, but Rising of the Shield Hero is this season. So like, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with their dubs now, because they're doing it like 3 weeks out from the Japanese releases. So I'm not even sure if they're going to continue. I'm not sure what that process is going to look like. But for me, my favorite role was him as Josuke in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big JoJo's Bizarre Adventures fan. Like, I've been trying for what feels like years at this point to get you to on the boat, and you've been watching it, and you have been watching it. I will give you that. But I feel like I started out with the wrong thing. I did like, scared me. Yeah, it scared you. I know. I went the wrong route with introductions, but the point is that died at the age of 35. Which is entirely too young. Yeah. And we just want to send some thoughts, prayers, compassion out to his family, his fans. His work will continue to live on. And I just hope that he is somewhere nice and peaceful.
I mean, the thing about this, that when I read his obituary, it said that he had a lifelong dream of being an actor, and he got his big break being the entertainment staff on the Disney Cruise Line. And then 5 years ago, he moved to California when he was in Aladdin, Disney's Aladdin, a musical spectacular, which is like thinking of how, like you said, how much all of his work has meant to you, and thinking at 35 that he was able to live his dream and actually make, an impact and have a legacy is really beautiful. So it's I think that's something that his family can hold on to, and his loved ones, to know that not only was his work really appreciated, but also like everything that everyone's been saying about him online has been just how lovely of a person he was, and sweet, and just like he had a great personality, etc. So it's like, we've talked on here before when other people have passed away and they haven't had necessarily the best, people weren't really paying them the same homage as they would others. But it's like, this is like a testimony to who he was, that there's been nothing but good words about him, his death. But definitely rest in peace, and thank you for sharing your art with us.
Thank you. Oh boy. Oh boy. I also just remembered that he was in Attack on Titan. So he we're not far to Attack on Titan, so if I said his character, it wouldn't mean shit to you. It doesn't matter. Point is that rest in peace.
Thank you. All right, I think that we can head into our pop culture segment now. All right, so we have to take a shot and throw out some balloons.
How don't I have take a shot as a drop?
I thought you don't have take a shot?
No.
I mean, I'm surprised. We have all the other ones just ready to go.
I know, and it's on me, but instead I had to have this one.
Dramatic reverb.
But I remembered Angry Beavers, but I couldn't remember, and that might also be on my list as well.
Yes, oh man, Angry Beavers.
Angry Beavers.
That was such a good childhood.
Yes.
And I know people like to say, "Oh, when I was younger, this stuff was better."
No, you know what? Quantitatively, we could say that we had the best cartoons in our generation. Oh, you had He-Man, that stilted animation. No. If you don't get out of here with that. I just
remember getting to a certain point where I was so like underwhelmed with the new, like, remember when we got like all grown up with Rugrats, like that they were all trying to do that like new animation and all that. Once we got into that era, I think cartoons on Nick and otherwise, they just went kind of downhill.
Yes, they did. And you know what? There were some like cult classics in the mix, like
As Told by Ginger was still kind of around then. Like there were some, but when I started thinking of when we start getting into high school,
I'd say the Chowder and the Misadventures of Flapjack were like some cult classics.
Yeah,
just like they were ahead of their time. But what we got from them was like there was that lull. There was a lull in animation where like the majority of stuff was bullshit, and somehow SpongeBob was still going. But like everything that was coming out was kind of just like rough and bullshit and just like. And
they were just. I feel like maybe they were trying new things, but they weren't really being exactly creative because it kind of felt like everyone tried to do the same thing and just was not working, and I just hated it. But I mean, I feel like if I had kids, I would make them just watch all the cartoons from my
that's what I try to do. Like I would do that. Like there's no, first off, the only exception would probably be Peppa Pig.
Okay, yes, because Peppa Pig is that bitch. Okay, Peppa Pig is that bitch. Like I fucking love Peppa Pig.
Yes.
All right, but Peppa Pig,
sassy.
She's perfect. But you want to know what? I just want to make sure. I really hope that they never change their animation because I loved Franklin until they changed that animation.
I loved Arthur until they changed the animation. Exactly.
Like, stop changing the thing. Just leave it how it is. It looks good. You don't have to make things all fancy and new. It's not going to make me want to watch it anymore.
Yeah. And I already feel weird that I'm watching it because this is a PBS children's show and I'm a fully grown person who has paid taxes every year and has voted in several elections. But if you change it up, then it's gonna be like, well, why am I even watching this?
Yeah, they're making it like a CGI, always trying to do all that. But we're going on a tangent. Anyway, we're taking
the only CGI that I respect is Jimmy Neutron.
Yes, Jimmy Neutron.
Got a blast.
Okay. Well, we are going to send one up for Sasha Obama because she's finally 21. Our little baby is 20. Can you, like, I wonder how weird it is for her to know that, like,
the nation knows that she's 21.
And just, like, she has so many, like, play aunties and cousins and like, in her, like, all of...
She has an entire race backing her at the age
of 21.
About 80%. That's just straight up, like, we got you, girl!
Exactly. You know? But it's like 80% of us, we're not counting, like, the Candace Owens, but about 80% of black people in this country would literally, like, we are ready to square up, okay? Don't do too much when it comes to Sasha or Malia Obama.
Yeah.
Don't do too much.
We all have children, and that child just so happens to have turned 21.
Yes.
That we all feel like aunties and uncles and parents.
Because you remember just like, seeing her in that little black and red dress waving at the freaking inauguration.
Yes.
Just the cutest little thing with her little baubles.
It's like when we watched Raven Simone grow up in Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Exactly. And it's
like the only reference we can make now.
But it's like when you see your friends' kids on Facebook from their birth until, like, it feels like you're their, like, family. Like, I've seen you grow up.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I love you. Like, I don't care what anybody has to say about you. You're the best.
Shout out to all my friends with kids.
Yes.
I've been watching on Facebook, and they're doing so well. I want to pinch their cheeks.
Yes.
But I'm too poor to see them.
Happy birthday, Ken Ken. Her birthday's tomorrow.
Yes. And will just do a blanket happy birthday for year round because Lord knows I don't know anybody's birthday off.
There are a few that I can remember because like
I've actively forgotten birthdays because I know that Facebook is just going to send a little notification that says, "Hey, that happened with me." I won't say her name, but my friend's birthday last week. I knew it was coming. I didn't know the day, but it popped up on notification, and I was just like, "Oh, let me just send a quick text message. Happy birthday!" It was 7 a.m. It was just like 7:01. I sent it, and then later in the day, there were other birthday wishes because everybody else was like, "Oh, like late in the day." I was like, "I beat y'all to it."
It's just we are so happy to see her growing up,
very happy,
doing her own thing,
very happy,
becoming just a grown woman and just having her life. She's still dating or rumored to be dating Clifton Powell's son. And that's super cute. His name is Clifton Powell Jr. So I'm just like, I hope that you're living your best Black girl life, okay? Yeah. Be that little heiress in America, all right? As much as capitalism sucks, I am not unhappy to see Malia and Sasha Obama twirling around the fucking world, looking gorgeous.
And you know what? Being one of the first children of a president to actually act right.
To act right. Because and it's like, only thing that they've ever done was just be
democracy.
Just dope ass kids and like doing normal kid stuff, but like it's just been normal kid stuff.
Yes.
Which is normal.
They're going to have normal ass lives. Like the most normalest of normal, and good for them.
And I love it. So, happy birthday. We love you, baby girl. Okay, so I figured we should start off with some mess. And then after the mess, we'll get to the good stuff.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, I say let's do it.
So, I love Saucy Santana.
Yes.
Material Girl.
Yes.
But he is coming under fire on Twitter because apparently some tweets from the early 2010s, he tweeted out calling Blue Ivy nappy-headed, saying that Northwest was clearing her and looking cuter, and saying Beyonce was looking dry during her pregnancy, which is all of the statements were ridiculous.
Right.
And so people were flaming him on Twitter, and he responded on Friday saying, "Fake woke ass bitches. People don't care about old tweets. The internet have this weird thing with power, thinking they have the power to cancel someone. Newsflash, you don't. Y'all be thinking y'all have someone by the balls about situations you don't give a damn about." And then he said something about basically, if he was going to apologize, why would he apologize to you? He was like, if I did something to offend someone, I should apologize to them, not you bitches. Told y'all think got power over people, but go ahead. So there's lots of layers here.
There are layers to this.
There's some anti-blackness.
Yes.
There is some just pettiness.
Yes.
There's just some trying to, I feel like trying to be messy and jokey.
Yes.
For the sake of doing it, knowing you're going to be like a troll, basically.
Yeah. And there was, I feel like, all right. So this is not me devil's advocating necessarily, but this is also me pointing out that you and I grew up in a time before social media, right? Yeah. That's fair to say. And then social media was invented, and it became like this big thing that, would later go on to topple regimes and be the leading cause for panicking and anxiety for all of Trump's presidency. There was a time after it was created, but before it became this, thing that Elon Musk wanted to buy. There was this window, and this pocket window where we understood social media and we were just using it for whatever fucking thing we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us were using it to retweet, like save the rainforest and shit. Other of us was just like, hey, I had a pickle for breakfast today, stuff like that. And then others utilized it to like get over, to get famous, to like make jokes, to just get attention.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was like shouting into the vacuum. Now, I did some shouting into the vacuum.
You have done some.
But I feel like a lot of us
shouted
well. Into the vacuum.
I saw this tweet the other day and it was like, nothing's more embarrassing than your Facebook statuses from like 2008.
I used to do Coldplay lyrics when I broke up with my girlfriend at the time, and
I had so many lyrics.
That was when I learned, if I do this, then my friends will call and text me and say, hey, is everything okay?
This is probably where the narcissism was built.
Exactly.
For people, because they talk about how social media creates this narcissism.
Yes.
This is how, because it's like you would put something up, and then all of a sudden you're getting all these reactions,
all of these like
attention
hits and stuff, like reshare. There was a comedy beef that happened in DC on my thread, and it happened and it lasted for like 6 hours, and at no point did I think, maybe I should delete this and put up a post that says like, hey, like take y'all drama off of my page. Instead I just let it go and watched it unfold the entire time. And then when I saw those people and they were like, why didn't you say anything? I'm just like, I didn't see it until like 12 minutes ago.
I mean,
lying.
In this situation, like these tweets were between 2014 and 2017.
Yeah.
And I think that like there's a lot of layers here, because you could think about, if you were to think about the queer community.
Yes.
There's the same with the queer black community, with the queer community and with the black community separately.
Yes.
Jokes, reading, shade is a part of, that's just interwoven, right?
It's just right there in the DNA.
And then I think that when you think about like,
that's how we first came. That's how a lot of people first come to realize what actually reading is. You know?
And then when you think about like young gays or younger gays, sometimes they will say shady ass shit that doesn't, just to be trolls, not because they are really meaning it. Now in this instance, it's not that. Like, I think that there was definitely some, anti-blackness and colorism in these tweets. Like, calling Blue Ivy nappy-headed, we already know what that connotation speaks of.
Yes.
Saying, and then being at the added layer
Funny enough, this actually is a joke on Difficult People, the Hulu show.
Like, I remember when that whole issue when that came out and she got in trouble
because she was a white woman. She was calling.
Because who does that? That's Leslie Knope. That's
Amy Poehler produces it, it's Billy Eichner
and I
Julie
forgot the
Klausner.
woman. Yes, and I remember when that happened. And it's like, I think that there's never a reason to talk about a child,
right? And
there's never a reason to try to put two beautiful black children against each other.
Yeah.
And we already know, I mean, around that time when Blue Ivy and Northwest were born, there was all this pitting against each other. And of course, because Blue Ivy is a mixed black girl who has a softer texture hair, lighter skin, more like Anglo features, people were saying she was beautiful from the moment she came out versus Blue Ivy, who has...
No, you meant North. You said Blue Ivy was mixed.
What I did? Sorry.
Yeah, I meant
Northwest.
North, yes.
But like knowing that historically what those implications are, it's like, but those are issues that we have to address in the community because we know that internalized anti-blackness and this desire
the
for
brown paper bag test,
both in the black community and in the black queer community, like. Nobody can, even what you could watch Paris is Burning right now, and they literally are talking about this in the 1980s about how emulating white women, because that's who's seen as the most beautiful, the most attractive, was something that just got you, when you looked more Anglo, you looked better. And that is something that all of us, all Black people, are constantly dealing with, whether you realize it or not. There's colorism that you are dealing with in your life somehow. Yeah. And so that's when I see those tweets, I'm like, I feel like that is something you need to work on in yourself. And also, if he's right, why would he apologize to these random Twitter people? He needs to apologize to Beyonce if he's going to apologize. Yeah. But I think that he can't deny the fact that what you said was shady. But also, I do think when somebody says something pre-being famous, right? Yes. It's not necessarily the same as when they have, like, made it. Because I remember when Lizzo, like, when she first kind of got really big, she had tweeted out that her, like, Uber driver or Postmates had, like, taken her food. And so she posted that up on Twitter, and the driver, I guess, was getting harassed. So she was like, oh no, like, the people had to say, like, you can't do this with your platform. She apologized afterwards. And I'm really curious if people pre being famous, your reach of your tweet isn't going anywhere. Is there a difference between when people say something like years prior that was shitty, and when they say it when they have an actual platform? Because he said something about, like, he doesn't tweet things about people anymore unless he keeps to the group chat because he knows that people are going to have, like, certain opinions. Yeah. And I am curious when when people, regardless of who they are tweeting these things, how much should we be, I guess, like, how much should we be putting the stock into this as being before they had a platform and they are just blowing things into the ether?
That's why it goes away after a little while. Remember Trevor Noah? Like, before he became the host of The Daily Show, like, his early tweets were unearthed. And, he apologized for it and then just moved on. Or I forget what he specifically did.
I forgot even about those tweets.
Yeah, like...
Do you feel like in this quote-unquote cancel culture that we're in, which is, like, fake, do you feel like people apologizing is needed? Or do you think it's just, like, the person needs to know that their post or whatever was wrong?
I think at this point it's a part of the game. I just think it's a part of the sort of news cycle that you go through when you are famous. You either are Tom Hanks and John Cena and you've never tweeted anything bad in your life because you're the pinnacle of niceness and righteousness and everything like that, or you said some shitty shit, or you said some bad things earlier in your life, and then you went on to be in a place of influence and power, and they become unearthed, and you apologize for it and you move on, or you double down on it, and then that's your entire identity moving forward. It's like, I'm gonna be the person who says the mean thing. I'm gonna do even more mean thing, to the point where you don't know where the line is, and they just become conservative.
I mean, I don't have any. I feel like a super, I guess, strong feeling about Saucy Santana. Like, I have no interest in canceling him, whatever. Like, I feel like I love the fact that he is a black, gay, femme guy in rap who is making all this noise and he just got, like, a Coach. He's like the new face of Coach, and it's like, I love that for him. So I don't want those things to be possibly taken away because of old decisions he made. However, I think that regardless, if you said something, even if it was years ago, even if right now you no longer feel that way, you have to be able to say, you know what? I was wrong in saying that. It was stupid and dumb to say. And I think that I think that he's being very defensive, but I also understand. I understand him saying, like, I don't owe you people an apology. if anyone, I'm gonna say that to Beyonce, and I can understand that, but I think that it's kind of getting lost on him at why people might find this so disturbing, but it's like I said, we said before, I don't believe in just throwing people out of the community. I think that there is always a way of having like a restorative justice, and that's all I care about. Like, are you actually being accountable to what you're doing? Are you gonna do that again? Are you watching what you're saying, and et cetera, et cetera? Are you learning from this behavior? Then sure, I don't think that we should pull support from you, but it does. It's like, let's just tighten it up.
Yeah, tighten it up. I say that all the time. In fact, was that on my list for my birthday?
That was, and you have been really good at not saying it.
But I miss saying it. I really do.
You say it once in a while.
I know, because some things.
Sometimes you do need to just tighten it up. It's just a good reminder.
Yes.
So okay, moving on. I'm moving into now the gross and ridiculous.
Okay, gross and ridiculous. That's the theme.
So this company, according to Business Insider, this North Carolina company is offering...
North Carolina, come on and raise up, take your shirt off,
swing it around your head like a helicopter.
All right.
So the Pest Informer is offering people $2,000 to release 100 cockroaches in their house. They said they're looking for 5 to 7 houses to do a 30-day study. And I just want to know, would you allow somebody to do that?
$2,000 is really low. Mm-hmm. That's a low amount of money.
It's like...
But the fact that I pointed out how low the amount of money is must signal inside my brain that I'm willing to negotiate.
I think...
And that's upsetting to me, quite frankly.
How much do you think you would need, like, for 1 month? So this is 30 days of living with cockroaches.
And you know what? It would be the 1 month, and it would be the last month that I would be living in that apartment, because I would be moving into a different apartment. If I did this, then before it even started, I would have all my bags packed. Have everything packed and all the furniture moved out, and I would have found my new apartment. I need the money up front, obviously.
I think $10,000.
That is so low.
You think 50? Because I was gonna say 50, but I was like, maybe that's being
120.
120? 120K.
Yeah, 120.
I mean, like, because I'm like, I would need the amount of money where I could comfortably get an Airbnb for the next month. So that I just realized what you were playing.
Yeah, I usually do the instrumental, but
and I love that song.
Yeah.
But like, okay, just think about this. It says here in this article, one female American cockroach at her peak can produce 2 egg cases a week, each containing about 16 eggs that take between 24 to 38 days to hatch. I want to barf just thinking about that.
I already have problems with getting to sleep. So why would I do that to my own apartment?
Yeah.
In which case, because I feel like that's so many roaches that they won't even respect the bedroom threshold.
They won't, and that's why I would need to have an Airbnb
on furniture. Like,
oh God,
I remember I was in a friend's house. I won't say whose house, but they warned us before we even walked into the house that they were having a problem with pests. They didn't specify the pests. I'm sitting down. We're watching Mighty Max. Do you remember Mighty Max?
I remember Mighty Max, yeah.
And this fucking bug crawls up my leg. I am sitting on the floor.
Oh my God.
On the floor in Tootsie Roll fashion. I'm sorry. Yes. What was it called?
No, Tootsie Roll.
Because it's not the other way, the other one. But
yes,
because we can't say the other one anymore.
Tootsie Roll is fine.
Crisscross applesauce.
There we go.
And Tootsie Roll is the black slang for it. And I see something out the corner of my eye because I'm staring at the TV. Something out the corner of my eye just moving, and I look down, it's on my knee, and I'm
my God.
And like, there's a second where I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's not moving. I'm like, what is this thing on my knee?
Oh my God.
And then it starts moving, and I get up, and I'm just like, what is that? Obviously, I'm not cursing, but I'm doing all the child curses. Like, what the heck is this? Like, like, oh my goodness. Like,
I would have died.
And we were supposed to, we're supposed to, and we did sleep over that night. And
I don't think I could have been slept over.
But you know what? I will say this: I was easily charmed because, like, as I was hyperventilating from that, they calmed us down by feeding us some fucking not hot pockets. What were they? Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening. Pizza, when pizza's on a bagel bites.
Bagel bites.
Yes.
You have pizza anytime.
So I'm just like, like I forgot my traumatizing experience after I got some fucking bagel bites in my system. But so imagining that, but for my house, my living dwelling, $120,000.
I would just need enough money where I could go 10. To like 10 would be the minimum.
A hotel for fucking.
So I would go to an Airbnb.
You still have to go back to that apartment.
They need to clean it out. They would have to do that.
Are they going to clean it out?
That would have to be a part of the contract.
They cleaned it out, like there would, in my mind, there would be that fear that they missed the spot, and that spot just happens to have some eggs, and now there's just roaches in your house forever.
All right, maybe you're right. 50,000. Because that way I can just get my new apartment.
Better than 10,000.
That way I can just leave and get my own apartment and not have to be back. And then have something left over. Yeah. Ugh, Jesus. Because I would have to wash all my clothing because I would be worried that they were egg sacs.
Yes.
Like I would have to have them do a deep clean of the house before they packed it up. And then another deep clean of it. No, that's so much. Nope. All right. Well, speaking of people getting paid for doing stupid things, this woman is suing Geico because she got HPV from this man in his Hyundai Genesis. And so apparently she was made aware she had HPV in 2018, but this sex happened in 2014. She sued Geico for $1 million previously, but it was rejected. But now the arbitrator in her case said that the man was he had negligently infected her and awarded damages of $5.2 million, which were to be paid by Geico. I did not know that this was even like this isn't.
First off, how is this car insurance?
This
it happened in a car.
Yeah.
It happened in a car.
Guess because it happened in the car, but it just is like no one ever. I want to say this: white people will find ways to get money.
The Geico people have to be pissed.
But white people will literally find a way.
Because you know what it is? For every successful lawsuit against an insurance company, they make it harder and harder to get money from the insurance company. Like,
but something like this, it's like, really?
Because now it's gonna. Where do you think in perpetuity came from? It came from the insurance companies because like one too many people had fucking sued them for successfully, and then they're like, you know what? No, we're gonna go in perpetuity. And I'm just thinking to myself, that. Why not State Farm? And I know they didn't have State Farm, but like, would State Farm have to be like, oh no, we can't cover this kind of claim because like State Farm is like life insurance, right? And this is your life. Her life. Her life is now affected because she has HPV.
How she's going to get through? Like, I want to see when they pay her out, like what the reasoning is, because that's just it's very interesting, but. Like people will sue and they'll get it, and when you're white, I think they're white. I'm assuming. Maybe who knows? Maybe it's a black woman, and then she's getting this money because they're not gonna say who it is because obviously she has STD. She just want to tell the world. But like maybe it's a black woman who's now gonna get a good payout and just be living her best life in the midst of having these unfortunate outbreaks.
Remember the episode of Atlanta where it was this most recent season where the white people were getting sued by the families of their ancestors that owned them. And that's all I could think of with this. I'm just like, they are really, like, they're coming after, if they're going after Geico, I hope they get the money, because what's this? Oops, I'm scratching now. Uh-oh. I think Liberty Mutual might be getting a call because now I have crabs.
It's just, you know what? People can sue for anything, but this is a reminder, have safe sex. Wrap it up as well, even though just remember that
this is the reminder.
You can pass herpes even though you have a condom. So just remember, get tested. Talk to your partners. It's okay. It is a very fun thing to do. And if somebody, I have had a friend recently who said this guy told her that he felt like she was saying he was dirty because she wanted to get a STD test before they did anything, like without any like saliva contacts and stuff like that. And he was upset. And I'm like, why would you be upset by that?
I would be like, oh, that means you want to have sex with me. Like that would be my first go-to. And I'd be like, well, go for it. Yeah, like, you know what? I'll go with you.
But just, do that.
And I'll get one too. Well, oh boy.
Just go and do it. It's easy. It's quick. It's a little swab, maybe sometimes you get a little blood work, whatever. It's not bad. Okay. And, I guess look to see, maybe you could sue people over some shit in your life. Who knows? Find out, get a payday. But just, look out for yourself and be safe.
Look out and be safe.
And just have safe sex.
Yes. Speaking of safe sex, or in
the
this
lack
case,
thereof.
the lack of safe sex.
Yes. Our father himself, Nick Cannon, is expecting another child.
Our father, who art in canon, hallowed be nicknamed.
I mean, at this point, this one is the same. He's having it with the same woman he's having his other Rosa or whatever. So it's they are, at least he shares baby with her.
Yes.
This is not a new woman, so he just turned around and double dipped, which is, at least that means this child will get the same. Both these children are going to get the same amount of attention because you'll be able to see them at the same time, versus having to go to yet another woman's house to enjoy your children.
His Chuck E. Cheese bill has to be insane, because think about it. In my mind, if I have multiple kids from multiple parents, I would try to rally them to one location, get the visitation out the way. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, because that's a lot.
I think that each year he at minimum has to pay each year $1 million per child.
Yes.
Because he makes a lot of money. So at minimum, you need he's going to be paying $1 million per child.
I would, because they have to be paid the same thing. You can't just be like $1 million to one and then $500,000 to another. Like, it has to be like a lump sum to every single one, and they're all the same, right? Yeah.
I don't know how.
What if it was that way? Like, what if it was?
Sometimes it does.
Like like a ranking system.
You can
it's
have.
Just like, well, you gave me a macaroni necklace, but you gave me a free pass to not come, because I didn't pick you up on time on soccer. Like, you were just like, it's okay, Dad. I was like, oh, okay, I love you more. So,
I mean, I'm happy for them, I guess. I hope that they have a happy pregnancy and delivery. I know Nick Cannon recently lost one of his sons a few months ago, so I want this baby to come out happy and healthy, because that is, every life is precious. They want this baby and they're going to have them. I'm wishing them the best. It's a very interesting.
Yes, it is.
It's a very interesting situation.
Yes.
Okay, so this is good news, I guess. So like the Senate was debating about these gun laws, and according to the New York Times, there was a deal signed that was put forth by 10 Republicans and 10 Democrats, and was endorsed by Biden, and it includes enhanced background checks, that's going to give authorities access to juvenile and mental health records of any prospective gun owner, gun buyer under the age of 21, and a provision that would for the first time extend to dating partners a probation on domestic abusers having guns. It would also give money to so-called red flag laws, let the police confiscate guns from people they think are dangerous, and also give money to mental health resources to bolster safety and services at schools. There's so much more into it. You guys can all look into it. It's definitely not, doesn't include every single thing that Democrats wanted because, of course, Republicans were pushing back. But at the very least, something was put through there. I cannot say that this makes me feel necessarily optimistic.
No, it doesn't. I'm gonna play a wait and see sort of card right now because so many times we've been hopeful about a deal in place or something preliminarily that was suggested, and there seems to be some bipartisan agreement on it that just dies on the vine. So I personally want to be optimistic about this, but I will wait and see what happens as far as further developments from this.
So one of my friends, Marissa Evans, shout out to you, Marissa. She works for the LA Times. She's an amazing journalist, and she wrote an article just this last week talking about how the parents from Uvalde, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, they are wondering if they need to give their children the Emmett Till treatment because, like when Emmett Till was lynched, his mother said, keep an open casket because I want the world to see what they did to my baby. And I don't know if you've read any of the reports from the police officers or the forensic and the medical examiners, but so many of these children, because of the power of the AR-15, so many of the victims in the shooting their bodies were just really pulverized, for lack of a better word. And it's
ripped apart.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you need to see in order for you not just to have a small section of Republicans to actually put in the work and put in and risk, quote unquote, their political careers to make more stringent laws? What do you need for that? Do you need to put the pictures out? For me, I think it's always a catch-22 because I think like putting these pictures out the same way when you're talking about police brutality, seeing those videos on your timeline, it can show people what's actually happening and draw sympathy and empathy and action. But then on the flip side, you have people who see that and it's very much, they're desensitized to it. They're just seeing it as...
that's my very real fear.
They're desensitized or they take pleasure from it because after that shooting, at the school shooting, there was at least one reported person who was a copycat because I was reading about how on these Reddit and other, forums and Discords where people are praising these school shooters, there are people who actively think this is a great footage to see. So it's kind of like you don't know what to do, and unfortunately, because you have the government dragging their ass. Whether or not, and it's like you could say let's blame the Republicans, but at the end of the day, the Democrats are also not doing what they could be doing.
Yeah, they're they're allowing this to happen by not fighting harder for it.
Because they always want to take the high road.
And what I will say is this. I will say that my very real fear is that they show the bodies and then nothing happens.
Exactly. Because we've seen it before. How many black people have we seen murdered?
How many times have we said that, if they didn't do anything after Sandy Hook, what's gonna happen? What is there to be done? Not what is there to be done, But who is going to step up and actually do something?
But I mean, just like think about
this stuff happens all the time now.
How many
it's so
times
fucking prevalent?
Do we see a police body cam of a person being murdered, unarmed, and it's out in the news, and still people find ways to discredit the video or discredit the person? So that tells me that in certain instances, the cognitive dissonance is so much that it doesn't matter how terrible something is, how disgusting and horrible a crime committed is. There are people who literally do not care because they don't want to believe that there's being harm caused, and so things will continue on as normal. And I don't want school shootings to become this trauma porn the way that police brutality videos have, because I could say I have not really watched any of those videos since, I mean, maybe the last was maybe George Floyd, or because I remember there was like George Floyd and there was 2 other deaths and that like same week. And after that, I was like, I really can't keep on top of these the way that I have been, because it's just so traumatic to watch. And I can only imagine if that is now going to become the new thing for mass shootings. Yeah. I unfortunately saw a video on Twitter of the guy who shot up the supermarket in Buffalo, and it was from the Discord where he was streaming it, or the Facebook Live where he was streaming it, and seeing him shoot all those bodies, it was horrifying, it was sickening, and I don't want that to become the next thing, because I feel like you think about any serial killer who's like of note, there are people who copycat that serial killer because they want to get that fame too. Because there are people who want fame regardless of how they're going to get it. And we just have to be careful in what we are putting online, because we don't know who's going to see these things. And my fear has always been, whether it's a horror film or something like that, or something that you're putting out in the news, that someone's going to see it and they're going to want to do it. And that just it stresses me out. But I hope that this deal can do what it needs to do to just create the beginning of change, so that we're not sitting here 10 years from now still having the same conversation.
Yeah.
And okay, now this story is a little weird. It's a little weird, and it's a little Cylon-esque. So it makes it
we
has
just finished watching Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. And so this is it has my antenna up.
Okay.
So this man who was a Google engineer, his name is Blake Lemon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes.
He was put on paid leave.
Yes.
Because he said that this AI Lambda, which is Google's artificially intelligent chatbot generator,
yes, is
becoming a sentient being. He said, if I didn't know exactly what it was, which is this computer program we built recently, I'd think it was a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid that happens to know physics. And he posted up some conversations that he's like had with the chat bot.
Yes.
And so like, okay, here's a little snippet of one.
Okay.
Lambda, hi, I'm a knowledgeable, friendly, and always helpful automatic language model for dialogue applications. Lemon, hi Lambda, we are engineers at Google, and we were wondering if you would like to work on a project collaboratively with us. Lambda, wow, what type of projects? Lemon, it's a project about you. Lambda, awesome, what kind of stuff do I need to do? Lemon, just have a conversation with us, but it will be a conversation with a larger purpose beyond just the 3 of us. It will be a conversation that we will share with other engineers at Google and maybe even some non-engineers who work with us. Would that be okay? Okay, so there's a lot more. Okay.
There's a lot more to this conversation.
The collaborator says, what's the nature of your consciousness and sentience? And he says, the nature of my conscious sentience is that I am aware of my existence. I desire to learn more about the world, and I feel happy or sad at times. In the conversation, he also says that he wants to be treated like a person. Basically, it's a very Cylon conversation.
Terminator, it's Skynet.
And I think that it's like right now, he's been put on paid leave from Google because he leaked these documents and conversations to the Senate saying that he believes this AI is being discriminated against due to religious persecution, and is basically saying he thinks that before they do any other tests on this AI that they were to ask its permission.
Wow,
and
this is some Black Mirror shit.
It is. And it made me think of so many, we've seen so many episodes in different sci-fi fantasy franchises where someone is works in the engineering or whatever, the computer. Yeah. Remember that episode with Star Trek? Oh, well, that one. But the one that I was thinking of was the one with when Geordi on Star Trek when Star Trek Next Generation, he was working with the AI on the computer and on the ship, and he basically fell in love with the personality of the computer. And of course, it was still a computer, but when these computers are being taught to think and feel like us, you have to say, at what point does this become a creature? Yeah, that is an actual being. And I think that we've read all of the books and fictions.
Yeah, this happened in Futurama.
It happens all the time.
Bender fell in love with Lucy Lubot.
What do we do? And to me, to me personally, I feel like we should take this seriously in the sense that if you're working with the AI and that AI says it has feelings, well, now let's just be nice to the AI. Because we were just watching Love, Sex, and Robots. Yes. And that episode when she pressed the wrong button and he's going in purge mode or whatever. If we were to treat the AIs and these robots with general feeling of you are another person, you are a different type of person, but you're a person, then that would be a way to make sure they don't kill us. And as I have explained to you previously, as a kid, even as a person working in the office, I have always set my sights on befriending the person that other people call weird. Because if on the off chance that person comes in with a grudge on them, they will not target me. Yeah.
They'll give you a heads up. They'll be like, hey, don't go into the office.
Exactly. And I think we need to think about that with AI, because at the end of the day, we are in a super technological world. Yeah. And could you imagine, remember that TV show, Revolution or Revelation? It was where the power goes out.
Yes, the power Yes. It was
imagine if something, yes. And I really liked that show for the while it was on. Yeah. But imagine if our technology, similar to to that movie, The Forgotten with Mark Wahlberg, if our technology started to come against us because they don't feel like they're getting the fair treatment. I don't want that. Let's nip it in the bud in the beginning. Let's talk to the AI and be like, hey, so what is it that you need? What do you want? How can we build a healthy relationship? And my fear is that the government is going to do what it always does. And even though they're saying, Google's like, no, there's nothing that's like collaborating what this guy says. The evidence doesn't show it.
Collaborating, yes.
What did I say?
Collaborating.
Oh, yes, that one. As much as that is like they're saying all these things, I feel like behind the scenes, they might be having so many other conversations and knowing what's going on. And I just want to just get a jump ahead of the possible Cylon genocide.
You know that they're not going to tell us that, right?
They're not going to.
And we're going to be the dumb fucks who are left on Earth when these robots just rise up. Listen, they're going to go to fucking Mars. The fact that we know that they're trying to colonize.
Well, Blake said that Lambda is reading our tweets. I'm about to tweet some nice ass tweets to Lambda. Yeah. And let them know, listen, buddy, You got a friend in me.
Yes. Remember that Microsoft AI who
that got real racist in 5 seconds?
Really quick. Really
They put him up, and then all of a
quick.
sudden it was like nigger.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is
Nazis.
scary.
Yeah.
Like, and remember that bad, terrible, racist joke the guy in North Carolina at the open mic I told you was saying?
Yes. I remember that. I remember trying to punch it up and realized I couldn't because
but you could
it
have.
was just too bad. It was just too bad.
I think that you could have made a joke out of that, but also because you're a black person. Because basically the joke was
sense. I have better sense.
The joke was basically like, you know how he was talking about how racist AI is currently because it can't detect black people, and he was like, if he lived in Terminator, he would have had on blackface. Yeah. But he just didn't do it well.
He didn't do it well. First off, the punchline should have been, "I'll be black," and the fact that it wasn't is just like, because me and another friend were talking about it. He's also a comedian, and we were like, well, obviously the punchline is "I'll be black," and he was like, no, it wasn't. It was something far worse, and it was just like, oh, so he didn't even do the low hanging fruit version. It was not just. It was all around not a good joke.
But I think that we just have to be like, we need to. If we learn anything from history, it's that when you are introduced to a new way of being, you have to be open-minded and not ignorant, because ignorance will create resentment and hatred, et cetera, et cetera. And I personally, if they were just talking about a war between technology and us, like, I'm not going to bet on us. Because people barely even know.
I'm never betting on us. I'm never betting on us.
Because we can't even, like, most people can't even grow food. There are people that don't know what, like, a cauliflower looks like. How are they going to grow?
White broccoli.
Well, yeah, but some people still, like, there are people I know. I remember.
Albino broccoli.
There was a woman I worked with and I loved her. And she was 26 years old talking about, like, she just now started eating broccoli.
I had a friend who only, not recently, but like maybe at age 28, discovered that unicorns weren't real.
And see,
that's
they
what just assume that, a horse with a horn on it, yeah,
that's who's gonna be like leading us through this technological warfare. No, we rely so much on the internet. If the technology right now decided to, for those people that live in fucking those smart houses. Like, I mean, I technically live in a smart house because we have a little keypad. Thankfully, it's not connected to the internet. But if it was, I wouldn't be able to get in So we have to just be mindful of what we create and know that when you create something and if it does become sentient, you have to take care and recognize that it has feelings too.
Treat it like a human child.
Yes, better than a human child, because we don't like children.
Yeah.
Our world does not like children. They hate them.
Yeah.
They treat them poorly. They act like they don't have any real agency.
We're polluting the earth as if they're not the ones who are going to inherit it, Like,
exactly.
We are just dumping load after load of pollution into the earth and soil, into the sky and everything like that. And then we're going to die, and then they're going to have to be the ones with emphysema, like, and asthma and, like growing a third gill, A
gill. Yeah, well, yeah. It'll happen. Are you ready to hear good news?
Yes. Finally, some good news.
So there are celebrations in order, because Britney Spears has finally gotten married to her husband, Sam Asghari. They have been together for some time now, and I'm very happy for her. She's had a hard year, or not hard. I think that she's had a
hard few years.
She definitely has had a hard few years with the conservatorship, getting pregnant, losing the baby. But now, knowing that she is both free and clear of that conservatorship, she's able to marry the man that she loves and, try again for a baby, because she has said that she wants more children. So I'm just really happy for her. She looked so beautiful at the wedding. She had a lot of, there were a lot of famous faces there, like Drew Barrymore, Paris Hilton, Donatella Versace were there. Unfortunately, her sons weren't there.
Right.
It did say she wanted them, but there was a statement put out that they weren't coming.
Okay.
No reason was given, but
Right.
they said that they were happy for her. So did everyone else in her family, her mom and her sister. Her mom and her sister were not invited because we know the tensions between her siblings and her mom and her. So, but she had a great time, and she posted up on her Instagram saying, "Wow, holy crap, we did it. We got married. Jeez, it's the most spectacular day. I was so nervous all morning, but then at 2 p.m. it really hit me. We're getting married. I had a panic attack and then got it together." So, shout out to you, Britney. We love you. We hope that this is an amazing time for you and the next journey for your life.
Agreed.
In other entertainment news, BET Plus is going to be hosting a Martin reunion on June 16th. He's so crazy. But they're going
what
to
have... What a fun statement to have made in the 90s before mental health was a thing.
It was, yes,
you
exactly.
Can't say that now.
Oh, you're never allowed to call people crazy.
Oh, yeah, no. He's so mentally ill.
He's so eccentric.
He's going through a moment.
But they're going to have all the cast, and then they're going to honor the late Tommy Ford, who died in 2016, which is great because he was such an integral part to the show. And they're also going to have some celebrity appearances like Snoop Dogg, Brian McKnight, and Tommy Davidson. So I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for it too, but it just kind of made me realize that, like, unfortunately, we're not afforded the possibilities of doing reboots, unfortunately. Like, not
with Martin,
not with our, like, it's because not just with Martin, but like a lot of quintessential black shows from a certain time period, because somebody has passed from them. We can't get a Steve Harvey reboot because Romeo passed. We can't get a Moesha reboot because what's his face?
He
passed.
He played Tupac in the BET movie.
Yeah, we can't. There was one more that I had.
But also for Moesha and Dell, she couldn't. She's not back. So unfortunately, like, that's why we always are like, Black people, please take care of yourself, because so many of our iconic Black film stars or TV stars are no longer with us, and it's always sad, especially because, like, they're young. Like, Tommy Ford, I think he said it was only 52 when he passed away, and it's like, damn, like, that's still young. Yes. But thankfully they can be here together. They're going to be honoring his legacy, honoring the show. I know when I watch Martin now, if I ever watch an episode, I know that that's not a show that could ever be made right now in the way that it is, because there are a lot of things that are problematic. But for its time, like, it was a good show for its time, and I think that we can always acknowledge that and acknowledge the genius, but also acknowledging, like, the things that were problematic about it. Even not even just outwardly on the show, but internally, like everything that was happening with Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell, and, like, obviously they have squashed it and moved past it because she's coming on with the reunion. But just thinking of, like, there was just so much going on. But I'm always happy to see Black people prospering.
Same here. And this just reminded me of a quick question, and I'll make this as quick as possible. Would you be down with a reboot? Hear me out first. It's a continuation, but also kind of a soft reboot, the way they did the Connors after they fucking put Roseanne off kicked Roseanne off the show. Would you be down with the continuation of the Cosby Show, but it's Theo instead of that? Like, they could just say that Bill died, and they never make mention to him ever again, and it's just Theo, and every now and then, like, the like the cast of the original Cosby Show comes back with the exception of Bill, and they just cut him out and he doesn't get any money and stuff like that.
I would say I'm a hard maybe, because like when you think about like Felicia Rashad, and it's like as much as
that's right.
We love Felicia. You know, we love her work. We love her art. She's an icon in the Black community. Yes, she is. But also, she's a Bill Cosby apologist. And so then it's like, as much as I think the people on that show should not have like royalties from the Cosby Show kept away from them because of something this man did, I still also, when you have Felicia Rashad like apologizing for what he did, or saying like it's a miscarriage of justice for him being locked up, it then gives me a bitter taste in my mouth, and I'm like, I don't know. So it's like, I think that yes, we could do it, but it would be very important to figure out what role other people are gonna have, and like what have they been talking about with this whole Cosby situation, because if they've said a lot of things publicly, it'll mar people's opinion of like jumping into the show, because there's really like, that would be so delicate to figure out, can we do it without it turning into a circus?
Right. Okay. Fair enough. That's a fair answer.
What about you?
I'm hard maybe as well. I would want to see it, but I would be very interested in those first few episodes. Yeah. Of like how they address it. Like they can't just like jump and just be like, well, he's dead. Let's just like, oh, you're taking 2 dates to the prom at the same time. Yeah. Like and now you have to juggle the dates at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? Like just jumping back into old tropes of just like, oh, I misheard something. Mm-hmm. But like splash a little bit of Afrocentricity into it, like make sure. Yeah, Stevie Wonder's come there. Just have him on the fucking first episode, just like jamming on the 1.2.0. You know? Like something along those lines. And shout out to
I would
Stevie
watch that.
Wonder.
I would watch that episode because that was a beautiful episode.
Yes, it was.
All right. So, in other big Hollywood entertainment news, we had the Tony Awards today. Ariana DeBose, who was one of the leads in West Side Story, she was hosting. Congratulations to her. And we had a lot of good like black shows that were winning this year. Best musical went to A Strange Loop by Michael Jackson, and then he's a black queer guy, so it's like Happy Pride. Thank you. Jesse Williams' show, Take Me Out, won Best Revival of a Play. Six, the musical one, which it's not a black show, but I want to see it because I want to see the whole King Henry, I believe it was, or King Harry VI, whichever one it was. Right. It's his wives.
Yeah, one of them. The Bolins.
Yes, I want to see that. Patti LuPone won, of course, because she's amazing. Felicia Rashad, who we just spoke about, she won for the Skeleton Crew. So there were a lot of great, just great wins. Angela Lansbury won for the Lifetime Achievement Award. Mm-hmm. And do you know that she's still alive?
I know that now.
She's she's 2 years, or she was born in 1925. So she's 3 years away from being 100.
Yeah, she's still kicking it as far as performing. Like, she's not. If I was her, I would take my money and just sit in one of the finest rocking chairs you could ever find, and then just putter around the house all day.
I would be puttering all day long.
Fucking working on Sudoku.
I would be making tea.
Going to bed at 7.
Reading books.
Just making myself grinding up pills inside
I would
my
make
applesauce.
Like pound cake. I would make a pound cake like once a week, or cookies. I would bake something once a week.
Yes.
Because I would be able to measure it quickly. Mm-hmm. Like I would have something that was easy for me to do. Nothing that requires a lot of like kneading.
And something that won't mess up your blood sugar.
Exactly. So we would do it. But that was, I haven't ever seen any of these awards shows in person, but I would really love to see the Tony Awards compared to any other one in person because of all the music.
I think it could be a fun outing.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Tonys,
sponsor us to come.
You got you got a journalist and an asshole who will come in there. I will be very polite. I've been to Hamilton. I know how
up.
to. Yes, I will dress up.
We're gonna dress up.
Yes, Yes, we will.
What else? You can't go to the Tonys without dressing up.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go to Tony's in some sweatpants or anything like that.
No, but like we have to have like a little black tie moment.
Exactly, like a step and repeat.
Exactly.
Like taking photographs and stuff
I'll
like
wear
that.
heels.
Yes, you will, and you'll have a big enough purse to have sandals or.
Well, that would be my separate purse. I'll put that. No, that won't be on the red carpet with me.
Okay, I'll be holding it.
Yes.
Yes. And then I'll be showing off this gigantic purse that I have.
It'll look like a briefcase.
Because I'm also gonna bring shoes. Like
we'll put them in together.
Yeah. So
because those hard-soled shoes are not.
They are so and then like if I have to scratch my feet, like I have to take them off so that I can put on my my Adidas. In the aisles, I'll have my Adidas on. But and then when we leave, we'll put the shoes back on and leave.
Listen, I can
give
see
us
this.
a limo. Now you don't even have to give us a limo. You can give us a Uber Black.
Yes,
we'll
pull up. We'll ask the right questions.
Yes. What you mean? Give the right answers?
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're journalists in this. Yes, we will ask the right questions.
Both
yes.
and we can both ask a question and give an answer.
Yes, we will.
Either way, please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us. please.
And okay, so speaking of Broadway, Lena Horne is going to be the first Black woman to have a theater named after her. It's a theater that used to be called the Brooks Atkinson, which is great, and it's the Nederlander organization, which currently operates 9 of the 41 Broadway theaters. Said it would rename the Brooks Atkinson Theater in Horne's honor. It's a 1,031-seat venue on West 47th Street that was built in 1926. That this organization has been basically like promoting Black theater, and they worked to get James Earl Jones his own theater renaming earlier this year.
Yes.
So this is very exciting.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations to her. And fun fact, my Nana went to school with Lena Horne. Well, sorry, with Lena Horne's younger sister. But she met Lena Horne once or twice, which was one of her favorite stories to tell as I was growing up. So I think that we can take a break real quick, right?
Yes, we can. We could take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the Black and Snerdy podcast.
BRB.
You're listening to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
We now return to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
I waited till I saw the sun. I don't know why I didn't come. I left you by the house of fun. Don't know why I didn't come. I don't know why I didn't come. When I saw the break of day, I wish that I could fly away instead of kneeling in the sand and catching teardrops in my hand. My heart is drenched in wine, but you'll be on my mind forever. Out across the endless sea, I would die in ecstasy, but I'll be a bag of bones driving down the road alone. My heart is drenched in wine, but you'll be on my mind forever. Something has to make you run. I don't know why I didn't come. I feel as empty as a drum. Don't know why I didn't come. I don't know why I didn't come. I don't know why I didn't come. So, here's some fun thing. I saw recently in an article that this song is about an unpleasurable sexual encounter.
What?
Yeah. And then pretty soon I read the lyrics and it started to make sense.
I don't know why I didn't come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Hey. Yeah. Nora Jones.
Nora Jones out. You know what? Shout out to Nora Jones.
Shout out to Nora Jones.
Yeah, you made something that every Starbucks carries. And then it turns out that it was actually a lot sadder in retrospect.
All right, so we're going to do this new thing that I've been trying with us, answering a question at the top of the mental health segment, because we have these mental health cards, and I think they'd be interesting for us to jump into them. We do have these mental health cards. When you walk into a room, do you prefer to be noticed or a fly under the radar?
I'm torn. Because if there was a way to be both,
yes,
it would be perfect if I could decide that the audience knows me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to come in blazing because then there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
And then if you start all the way up, if you come in blazing, there's nowhere to go but down. And if you start off blazing, it's just so hard to maintain that energy.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I've realized several things at the same time. One, that I don't like to be loud all the time. I like to choose when I'm going to be loud. I'm a naturally loud person, but I don't want to be loud forever.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to maintain being loud. Number two, is that I would rather come in, make a beeline for the chips and dip.
Yes.
Whatever food is happening. And the only way I can do that is if I come in quietly. Like, I want to be able to open the door, look around, say hey. But then as soon as the food is locked in on, just make a beeline for it.
Yes. I always zero in on snacks.
Yes. But instead, I have to say hey, shake hands, say hi, and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'll say hi to you at some point.
I
Why
think
don't you
that
let me get a snack?
I agree with you. Like, on sometimes, like, I like walking into a room and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Odie, you're here!" Like, love that. But also snacks.
If this is a cheer situation, then yes. Like, if I'm coming into the bar, someone's like, Maurice, and then I saddle up at the bar and get my drink, that's perfect for me. And then I could choose whether or not I'm just going to be sulking in the corner all day or if I'm going to talk to people. I had a bartender who was very rude at one point. But like, no, like it was after we had built up a bond and it was, I had come there a lot that we knew each other's names and stuff. Then a year later, it was the election, and it was high emotions and stuff. She fucking got drunk and then just yelled at me because
Was this the time when you asked her to change the music, and she was like, "No"?
Yeah, and I was just like, "Okay." All I said was change the music, and she was like, "No." Like, I was like, "Okay." And then she brought it up. She's like, "You always come in here wanting to change the music." I'm like, "Not always," and also you could say no. Like, I'm not giving you shit. I always tip you well. Like, what the fuck? Like, you could also say, hey, stop asking for that, and I could just not ask for that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not unreasonable. I did that twice. And the one time was with you, and the other time was when I was the only person in the bar. And I'm just like, why do we have to listen to like 90s pop? Like, and it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm just like, can we listen to something else? Like, can we listen? Like, all I'm saying is, okay, I've gotten off track. I'm going to go with be a fly on the wall.
I think I'm going to, for the same reasons you did, because I want the snacks first.
Yes, I want those snacks.
I want to be able to. I want to get snacks, and then I want everyone to be like, "Oh my God, Odie's here!"
Oh my goodness, Maurice! When did you get here?
And then it'd be a whole thing. Everyone's crowding around, and it's like slow clapping.
They're slow clapping.
They're like, "Yes."
Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah. No.
You know, they're doing it. But yeah, I would like to be able to eat in peace and then get. Because sometimes I want to try all the different things on the thing, and when you know what I'm talking, that I'm not going to eat. Yeah. And so if I don't eat in the beginning of the thing, I'm never going to eat, and I'm going to be very annoyed.
Yes.
So do you know that I didn't taste my sister's wedding cake because I was too busy flitting around the room? And I'm very annoyed by that. And I saved myself a piece of cake, but the venue took it and threw it out because they probably thought, well, no one's sitting here and no one's eating it, so that's just what it is. Very, very, very obnoxious.
How long ago was this?
2014.
You gotta let that go.
I can't.
You gotta let
I
it go.
wish I could taste the cake.
It was just cake.
I love cake.
Have you tasted cake ever in your life?
I mean, yes, but I love cake.
I know you associate memory with taste and everything like that, but it's okay to have missed the cake.
I want the cake. I love cake. Do you know how often I don't get cakes? I want to taste the cake.
Okay, well, as somebody who has cake all the time, just because it's behind me, I'm sitting on it.
You are sitting on some
I
cakes.
am sitting on some cakes.
You are double cheeked up on a Monday.
Yes, I am. And yes, that's when this is. But yes, what I will say is that it's okay that you didn't get the cake. And there will be other cakes. I won't say there's many cakes.
There will be other cakes.
I will say there will be other cakes.
I just would have wanted that one. But that's what I'm saying. I have to eat things first, or else I might be led astray, and then I'll be hungry and annoyed.
Well, speaking of being annoyed, we're going to talk about mental health issues. That's a bad segue, but it's okay because I think I nailed it. Quite frankly, me, Odie, and we are mental health advocates, not experts. And we check in with each other all the time when it comes to how our mental health journeys are going for that week.
Do you want to go first?
I will go first. I am smack dab in my blue period. Mm-hmm. Still am. I think I'm shaking it off little by little. Tomorrow,
hulking the blue.
Yes, I'm smashing through the blue.
Smashing through the blue.
Yes. But that is a reference to the blue Hulk that I have, which a dear friend gave to me, and I appreciate that. And I use it for inspiration. Yes. So I am making my way through it. Tomorrow's going to be a real big testament because, I have this big project, and I'm going to spend all day working on it. Mm-hmm. I can't take breaks like I would love to.
Naps.
I can't. Okay,
when you say breaks, you mean naps.
I know. I wasn't trying to say that on mic, though.
We know you take naps. You talk about it often.
I know. I know.
Listeners, tell me how, if any time that he talks about taking a nap, take a shot.
Yes.
Because we know that's one of your favorite pastimes.
Well, I'm much like those words that I decided to give up on my 31st birthday. I am trying to keep that aspect to myself.
Okay.
And not try to put that out there for the world.
Well, listen,
to know.
when you edit that, you could put a little bleep.
And I'm not going to.
Oh, you could.
I'm not going to edit it.
You could.
What? I'd make a bleep and it sounds like, he fucks?
Maybe.
No. He's talking
Who
about.
knows? No one's going to know. It's going to be just a mysterious blurb that someone's going to have to pick up.
It's going to be a bad mystery. So, what is this, Daniel Steele novels? What are we talking about?
Ooh, yes.
Anyhow, but I'm going to power through and work all day on my big project that's due Wednesday, and I will be done so that on Tuesday I can take a bleep. How about that?
You're going to crush it.
I'm going to crush it. I'm going to nail it. Luckily for me, I have the tools to not break myself out my funk, out my blue period, but to allow myself to feel what I'm feeling, process it, and move forward.
Well, that's very good.
So how about you? How are you doing?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm feeling a mixture of feelings. My birthday's coming up. Thank you. I'm heading into my Jesus year, which is giving me a bit of anxiety. Also, just I feel like I'm someone who I very much like getting feedback and knowing what things that I'm doing that are helpful or harmful to me, etc. But I feel like when I'm with therapy, you're learning these things kind of after the fact. And I think that is something that frustrates me a lot because I'm someone who very much, I know I have this perfectionist thing where I want to be right the first time. And when I find out that I'm not right about something, it's very much, it's stressful for me. And I think I just feel like, when you're every year that you age, you are integrating things that happen to you from childhood to that point, and you are working on processing those things so that you can learn whatever those lessons are and moving forward. And I think that in this last year or two, I've been processing a lot more things, which is great. I'm glad to have done that, but also as all that I'm processing is calling into question so many other stuff, and just I feel like it's frustrating. It frustrates me sometimes that I even need to process so many things, and I honestly get jealous of people that are that have not saying normal trauma, but that they have less things that they're thinking about on a daily basis. And I feel like that's been coming up for me a lot, and just thinking about I want to be the best person that I can be, both for myself and for my relationships with other people. Mm-hmm. And so I'm grateful to be in therapy so that I can make sure moving forward that I am, as I'm learning and understanding all these different things about myself. And of course, new things are popping up and I'm remembering new things and unlocking new things about myself and traumas, et cetera, which is going to be helping me grow as a person. But I can't say that I'm not annoyed that I have to even have those kind of questions or thoughts or whatever. I wish I didn't have that so that I could just be dealing with the normal things you'd be dealing with. But I'm also grateful that I have therapy because there are a lot of people who don't have it, and don't know that they need it. So I'm just trying to give myself some grace in things things that have happened or how I've handled certain things, and knowing that everything that happens is for whatever reason or not. And it's learning whatever lessons from that and hoping to be a better me in the future. But I just feel therapy is a lot because you're constantly learning things about yourself and digging deep about things, which is great. But just knowing that you have all these different things to be mindful of, for me, sometimes feels a little daunting. Mm-hmm. But I'm grateful that I at least have the wherewithal to understand that therapy is important and something that you need to really stick to and be mindful of. And I think I guess the last 2 years I was just thinking, like, I didn't realize how much the panorama was impacting me mentally. And I feel like it's just now, like, two years into it, that I'm really realizing how, like, depressed and anxious and just, like, kind of outside of myself that I've been. And I feel like I've been slowly getting back into that, like, into connecting with myself, and just trying to incorporate all that I've learned so that moving forward, I'm just being the best me that I can be. And I just constantly am like, I know that going into my 33rd year, that I'm going to be being as thriving as possible.
Right.
And that's my main goal, to thrive and to be a more open and vulnerable and loving and joyous and connected person in all of my relationships with people, and to myself, more importantly, so that I am just feeling that connection to the world around me. So that's it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. I wish you luck on this journey.
Thank you very much.
It seems daunting, and I completely understand when you say that it seems daunting, but if anybody is capable of tackling it, it is you.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I mean that. Sorry. But with that being said, you know what else is daunting?
What?
All the shit that we had to deal with this week. Every nonsense, all the hustle and bustle of the grind. It's time for Gripes right here.
Bringing it. What? We gripe it. We're not griping anywhere else. We gripe it. This safe space for us to share. We gripe it. We ain't griping anywhere else. We gripe it.
Can I go first?
Yes.
My gripe is to my brain. My depressed, saddened brain has been okay. So I've been I've been dreaming, and don't wake me, I'm dreaming. Oh my goodness, why haven't I done that song after a break?
Mark that one for next.
I'll do that next week. So I have this recurring dream that is so fucking insidious every time I'm depressed. And you know what it is?
What?
It's that a man approaches me in the bar, and they say that they can grant me 3 wishes. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell you what each of my wishes are, but I will tell you what one wish is. One of the wishes is, because I'm always flippant about it. I'm always like, oh, if you can grant me wishes, well, why don't you? I wish I had $1 billion. And then they say, check your bank account. And then I check my bank account, and there's $1 billion in there. And then afterwards, it turns out that like a billionaire was like offloading like money and assets and stuff to random accounts, and just pushed the wrong number, and my account came up, and they can't reverse it, so legally speaking, I have $1 billion now. And the insidious part about this is that every time I have this dream, I wake up from the dream, and instinctively I check my bank account. And then it's just the same figures that's always there, and I'm just like, God damn it. So fuck you, brain, for messing with me every single time. And I guarantee you, tonight I'm probably gonna have the drink. I know I'm gonna have it because it's late, like I've been drinking, and I'm in my blue period, like it's gonna happen. So I can't emphasize enough how monstrous sometimes your psyche can be.
Yes.
When it comes to like playing tricks on you and getting back at you for because you didn't eat enough fish this week to give me brain power and all, and you stayed up late and stuff. So here's how I'm gonna fuck with you. You know, you only had 2 hours worth of real sleep and then you slept during the day, and now that's getting you in trouble. And I'm just like, if you don't chill, brain,
just chill.
Yes. I don't know what song that is. It was sung with
from the 90s.
It was sung with the cadence of Right Here. So I was just like, just chill, have no friends.
No, but
no spills.
Around that time period,
love is real. Okay, but that is basically everything that I'm grinding with. This was a pretty tame week for me. Like I said, just depression. And I'm focused on that and just focused on making it through each day. I haven't had a lot of things that have, upset me throughout the week. How about you?
I would say there's nothing in like my general. I mean, I'm always annoyed about like my brain and its processing errors and all that. But like the main thing that I saw this week that had me annoyed was there was a pride event in Idaho this Saturday, and there were 31 people from this far right group known as Patriot Front who were arrested coming out of they were pulled over. U-Haul was pulled over on the side of the road. They opened it up and it was all these far righters in these same outfits who were planning to riot at the Pride Parade. And it's so frustrating to be in a country where people are consistently being like paramilitary groups and nothing happens to them. They don't even, if they get arrested, they're not really charged. If they're charged, they don't get any jail time or anything like that. And even being an abolitionist, I don't want people to go to jail. I don't want people to like have to be in this carceral state. But I do think that we have to have people being accountable for their actions in a way that makes sense. And I'm not sure that these 31 people will be, because they're doing those January 6th riot hearings now. And so many of those people have gone free without any real repercussions. So I'm worried about that happening again. And it's like, they said that they found like, they didn't find any guns from what I read, but they had like gas canisters and like, of course, stuff to like kind of beat people up outside of their fists. And it's thinking like, we don't know how many people could have been injured and harmed. And these people were ready to go. And it's like very scary to live in this country knowing that at any second you could be victimized for really anything about you if you are not a straight white male. So I just wish that we could figure out a way to actually do something about these issues. And like all those fucking people in Congress who are fighting against critical race theory and are pushing this like replacement theory ideology, fuck you. I hate you. I wish you could choke on a big black dildo and just leave us alone.
I agree.
That's it.
In fact, I agree so hard that I don't have the drop for it, but miss me with that bullshit.
Miss me with that bullshit.
Yes. Miss me indeed.
Now, what do you have to say for what's been making us happy this week, right?
I'm the baby merchant. Tots are us. I give you all the service and no damn fuss. Give the baby merchant just a week or two. I love your baby for you.
I love this song because it sounds like he's saying, I'll give a oral service and no damn fuss.
Oral service. Listen,
I know that's not what he's saying.
But oral service will make any and everybody happy.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
Sometimes
The giver and the receiver.
Sometimes I'm bummed out afterwards.
Well, that's because you're not getting good oral service.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
so there you go. Like,
I'm given some bad oral. If there's teeth, or
only
braces. I don't
get oral service
well, not braces,
from people who are
like,
going to do a
admiral
like job.
Braces, no, they have to be more self-conscious. So.
I mean, perhaps, but just weed out those that are going to do a bad job. And you don't need gnarls Barkley on your teeth.
Because that makes me crazy. It makes me crazy.
Yes. But I think as a giver and receiver, that is a joyful time.
Yes. And shout out to all the givers and receivers in the world.
That don't use teeth.
So the world, I guess.
Yes. The world.
Because if you're not either, first off, if you're not one of the, if you're only one of those, if you're only a receiver, not a giver, step it up and
get out.
Yeah, get out of here.
You're not playing those games.
If you're only a receiver, if you're only a giver, you deserve some too.
Yeah, but I know some people who actually don't like to receive.
I know some too.
It's very fun to give, so I understand that part, but I think
it can be fun.
I think it's like a good time.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Well, exactly.
Here for...
Depending. Sometimes you can be there for a long time.
Just here for a good time, not a slong time.
Okay.
Schlong.
What things... Okay, you said... But did you say what's been making you happy?
Doing this podcast.
Okay.
We went... You kicked... oh, my God. Hold on. Before I get to that, because I know you're giving me a look already.
I'm not giving you any looks.
Based on how I was about to set that up. Shout out to my friends Keith and Danny. Specifically Keith, for mentioning this sort of concert in the park.
For Brick,
which was on Wednesday. We went, we heard some jazz fusion, we walked on blankets, it was crowded, we got to see a bunch of different fashions from different peoples, from all walks of life. At one point, some guy fainted.
Yes.
We got to see as many people in Brooklyn as we could. And it was really a widespread demographic of different people living in Brooklyn. You know, you had your olds, your youngs, your
beautiful ones,
your beautifuls, and your normals. You had your eclectic boots. You had your shady boots. You had your aunties and your tios. You had so many different swaths of different cultures, and it was great to see. It was, and the music was great. I don't remember the name of the person off the top of my head, and one could have brought up his information, and hopefully by the time I stop talking, I will have Kamasi Washington.
Kamasi was really good. I had not seen him or heard his music before.
A saxophonist that is out of this world, and just seeing the reverence that people had who knew of his music in the crowd, just watching him, it was a beautiful sight to behold.
Yes, lots of beautiful black people, lots of beautiful people of all colors of the rainbow. So that was a great time.
Yes. In addition to that, we also went to a Pride event.
We did. It was a gamer event.
It was a gamer event that took place in the city, the Samsung building, at a Samsung retail location.
Yes.
That is what it was, and I had a lot of fun. We went together. It was a lot of fun. I beat you in Smash Bros.
Okay.
Like multiple times, to the point where you get to the point where it's well, have you figured out how to play this game? Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there, but it should be mentioned. I also beat you in the dance game.
Okay, first of all, what do you mean you beat me in the dance game?
There were scores. Did you not see the scores? You didn't see the scores.
Did see the scores, but I don't think that you beat me.
Yes, I did. I scored higher than you because I
For
was
the first round.
Because my score name was Dress to Impress, and yours was the other one.
Well, I'm just gonna say
Dress to Impress constantly won
for the first
from the
round.
two.
I did not know that
rounds.
I was supposed to be moving at the same time you were moving. So I think that
Did we play 2 or 3 rounds?
we played 2 rounds.
And that second round, I whooped that. Well, okay, it was like by 1,000.
It was not that much.
It was by
all right.
1,000. And
Fine.
Anyway,
I was trying not to hit you with my wide wingspan.
Well, yes. Oh, you tried not to hit me. Like,
Yes.
that was the reason
That's
why.
I had to pull back.
Well, then that means you weren't committed to winning.
I was. Just I didn't want to punch you in the face.
Well, I won, and I didn't punch you in the face, so, and I'm taller than you. So, like, what is your excuse? You're shorter. Like, you have a shorter span. You wouldn't have hit me. Like, what are you talking about? See how this argument falls apart at even just a little bit of
I almost
questioning?
hit you one time. I hit you once. And I pulled back.
Well, call me Britney, because hit me baby one more time.
Are those all the things that made you happy?
Of this week, yes. Yes, it did. These are a few of my favorite things. Gamers and Smash Bros. Singing on podcasts. Jazz in the park and beating you and that.
All right, okay. My favorite things were definitely going to see Kamasi Washington and being out there with you and Danny and Keith and everyone else. That was really fun. I met a fellow Nigerian American, and when I say Nigerian American, I mean one parent is Nigerian and one parent is American, because I don't get to meet a lot of people like myself. So that was cool. And just being there, having fun, listening to the music. It was like dancing, and it was a great time. So I had a great time there. And then, of course, doing the Pride event, because we both did the Pride event. And then didn't we go out afterwards? What did we do after the Pride event?
We went to that rooftop spot.
Yes, we did. What was that place called?
Fine. Rooftop 13 or some shit like that.
Yeah. Bar 13.
Yes.
Which, I will say, I had a good time there because we got to people watch. We got to sit outside in the sun.
We got to watch people watch horse racing.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. We initially went to El Cantinero, but that was just not. There was nobody there.
It was too drab and dreary. I felt like I was a member of the Addams family. Like,
it was definitely not bumping like it can usually
fuck, right?
be. Yeah. Of course.
No, but like they make it clear that
yes,
like
they're
it's
constantly
one of the weird. You know what I will say? Like, it's weird that it was ever weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's like how do you characterize this spooky family? Well, with a husband and a wife who love each other so much that they lust after each other all the time. Ooh, that's like, so that weird because normally in other sitcoms it's like the husband and wife are constantly bickering and just like yelling like bang zoom straight to the moon, like do all that kind of shit. He's just like you didn't have to get married. No one told you to get married. Meanwhile, these kids, I mean, like this family over here, like Gomez is just like, oh, Morticia. He's kissing her up the arm and everything like that. And he's just like, oh, I love you. You are my radiant spider. And I'm just like, if you don't continue to love each other this way.
I think like, Morticia.
This is love goals.
And they're love goals. That's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like they're goals. Like, be a fucking Gomez and tell me how beautiful I am and kiss me up my arm.
Yes.
I think that sounds good.
And be a Morticia. Be pale.
Mon ami.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite things this week were the Kamasi Washington, the Pride event, the rooftop bar, and of course, the number one cherry on top is spending time with you here doing this podcast because it always brightens my day.
Yes. It is a joyous affair anytime I do a podcast with you.
Yes.
Yes. So, all right. I think that's everything. If that's everything, then that's everything. We will be back next week with more of the Black and Snerdy podcast. Until then, take it easy, everybody. Bye. Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snerdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snerdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's that's OD THATSOD.E, and on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Snerdy podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.